Hi and welcome back. Today we're making beef stew. I'm making it because it's a quick and easy meal that you can throw in the crock pot, especially on a snowy day, but this is delicious anytime. So let's get cooking. All right, so starting out, what we're gonna do is normally this dish, the way that the recipe called for it, it said that it needed to be in a stock pot. I'm gonna do it in the crock pot because I don't wanna sit in front of a stock pot all day long. So anyway, we need to take 3 tablespoons of flour and 1 teaspoon of paprika. And we're gonna mix that in. Hold on a minute. We're gonna mix it in with 1 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of pepper. There we go. And then we are going to mix it together. I'm just going to use my little mixing spoon or my measuring spoon. All right. And what we're going to do is we are going to we're going to go ahead and put that on top of the meat. Now I realize this might cause it to be clumpy. So what you have to do is you make sure that just as the meat in here is about 3 pounds of beef stew meat, what you have to do, here, let me show you. What you have to do is probably make sure, and mine is frozen, is we're gonna take a pound of potatoes. We need to chop them up into, or dice them. I already cut a small to medium onion, and I diced that. You're gonna need 2 celery stalks chopped, and then 3 carrots chopped. So that's what we're gonna do, and we're gonna go fast forward on this. All right, so all of the vegetables are chopped. We're gonna go ahead and add them to the crock pot. I think we're done with this. And let's go ahead and add the potatoes. After that, we are going to add, now because it was in the stock pot, you're adding butter and oil so that you can saute the vegetables. So I'm going to go ahead and use it in the crock pot also because I think that the butter and the oil is going to give it some richness. So we're going to go ahead and add 3 tablespoons of butter, and I've chopped them up. And then we're going to use 3 tablespoons of olive oil. All right, here we go with that. And then we're going to add 1 clove of garlic, minced. So that goes in. Then we add 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce and 3 cups of beef broth. I didn't have beef broth, so I went ahead and I used Better Than bouillon. And I just melted it down in hot water, so I'm going to stir it up just to make sure that I got it all melted. And I added my Worcestershire sauce in here as well. So let's add that. This already smells so good. Okay, you're going to put in 1 bay leaf. And then the recipe doesn't call for mushrooms, but I had mushrooms left over from that chicken recipe. And these are portobello mushrooms. So I'm going to go ahead and add those to it too. Break those up. That'll just give it a beefier taste. And whoever doesn't like mushrooms, they can pick them out. But I think for the most part, we're good on mushrooms now. All right, and then it calls for 2 ounces of tomato paste. I have this, so I'm going to squeeze out half of this tube. Oops, I don't want to cook that. Okay, so we got that in there. And then cameraman, how much rosemary do we need? We need rosemary.
Half a teaspoon.
Half a teaspoon of rosemary? Oh, gosh, I think I have one that's not used. I mean, that is used. Oh, well. This is a 1/4 teaspoon measuring. So we need to put half a teaspoon of rosemary in there. And then what we also need to do to thicken all of this up is, can you get me 2 tablespoons of water?
Yep.
Right? 2 tablespoons or 3 tablespoons?
2.
Okay, what we have to do is we've got to make a cornstarch and water slurry. Okay, there's 1. 2. This is the first time I'm doing this recipe. Oh, just 2 tablespoons? Mm-hmm. Okay, this is the first time I'm making this one, and it said that this was like an older recipe, a recipe that I guess the person had gotten from a grandparent. So I'm curious to see how it tastes. I mean, the flavors that we're putting in there are going to be delicious. And then about, I think it's 15 minutes prior to the stew being ready, I'm going to put it on the crock pot on low for 8 hours. And then about 15 minutes or so before I turn it off, I'm going to add frozen peas. And I just have regular frozen peas. I'm going to add, what is it, a cup or half a cup?
Yeah, I believe it's a cup.
It's a cup of frozen peas to this. The recipe will be linked down below for you guys to see. So then let's go ahead and add the slurry. And we'll put it on the crock pot stand. My mouth is watering. We'll put it on the crock pot stand, and this will cook again, like I said, on low for 8 hours. So this has been cooking for, let me see, it's not 8 hours yet, but I went ahead and I added the frozen peas because they say to add them 15 minutes beforehand, and I found that sometimes when you do that, they really don't cook through, you know, inside. And I don't want it to be mushy, but I don't want the peas to be still kind of firm. So anyway, this will cook probably for another 30 minutes, and then it'll be time for dinner. Look at this beef stew. That's what's for dinner. Smells really, really good. Can't wait to serve this over some rice.